There's just something so nice about filming a reading out in nature. Do you ever look at a flower or a tree or a river or really just anything out in nature where you think to yourself, wow, God, this universe is so amazing. Look at how naturally beautiful these things are. Look at how perfect these things are simply by just existing. You really can't help but think that God, the universe, knew exactly what they were doing by bringing these things to life, by gifting these things to us. And the reason that I'm being called to bring this to your attention today is because the literal universe, God, even other people, see you in this way as well. If you could see yourself from the eyes of God, of the universe, of other people who are not biased, who don't hold hate in their heart, who don't look at you through the eyes of fear or insecurity, you would think very differently about yourself and about your life. I bet you would no longer criticize or judge yourself as harshly as you do. And just as I'm saying that, I'm seeing a little red bird. So that could be significant for some of you. I believe it's a cardinal. I know in a lot of traditions, that bird specifically could represent a lost loved one, someone that you really admired who has passed on but is still with you. And I feel that me getting attacked by mosquitoes out here could even be symbolic. Even though I would rather them not bother me, they're still going to exist. And so there's something here about seeing those that judge you, that criticize you, that try to bring you down as beings who are going to continue to exist, but that you ultimately don't have to pay mind to. You literally have a choice on whether you should pay attention to them, on whether you should give weight to their opinions or words. Because the majority of the time, anyone who is criticizing you, judging you, being harsh for whatever reason, they don't have anything constructive to say, anything that is valuable, anything that is truthful, just as your own fears and doubts and limiting beliefs. They're usually not saying anything truthful either, but because of how we are raised in this world, how we are conditioned, we can sometimes tend to give too much weight to those things too. And so there's a message coming through about nourishment. If you look up one of the definitions of nourish, it's to hold a belief or a feeling in your mind for a prolonged period of time. So there's a message here about paying attention to which thoughts and feelings you're choosing to nourish, and to also pay attention when you are taking someone else's opinion or belief or feeling and accepting it as your personal truth. There's also a message coming through here about taking care of your body, taking care of your temple, treating this body that you only get one chance with care. And this all just comes down to making healthy lifestyle choices. And really, you get to decide what that looks like. For some of you, this is literal, getting back to the gym or creating a workout routine that is actually exciting for you. For others of you, this could have to do with your diet, whether it's your physical diet or your mental diet. Because whatever you keep telling yourself in here, that's what you're going to see when you look at yourself. So if you can take care of where your thoughts and feelings are drifting, that is going to be reflected in your physical vessel as well. And to confirm that, here we have the power of words, the power of words, the power of thoughts. I recognize the power of my words and use them for the good of all. And that all also includes you. Think about how you would speak to someone that you really admire. Why are you saving that for them and not pouring those words back into yourself? There's also something here about paying attention to the things that you say you would never do. Because having boundaries, saying that we won't accept or do certain things is valid. The beautiful thing about life is we get to decide how we want to live it. But sometimes our boundaries can act as a fence. Sometimes our boundaries can hinder our growth or our dreams, or even stop us from getting something that we really want or experiencing something that we really want. So there's a message here about asking yourself, what are the things that I'm telling myself that I would never do, not because I don't want to, but because I'm scared to? Because usually on the other side of fear lies our potential. Behind our fears lies progress for our personal development, lies progress for love, lies progress for our career, lies progress toward more abundance, lies progress toward more stability, lies progress toward peace. A good example for this is myself and my personal experience with my career. If I was to go back in time and tell my teenage self that I would be doing this, I would think you were joking. There were moments in my life where literally just thinking about speaking in front of people, recording videos of myself, needing to watch them back, putting myself out there in such a way where people that I know and don't know could judge me. If you told me back then that I would be doing this, I wouldn't believe it. I couldn't. There was so much fear in front of my potential, blocking me from even being able to see that reality. And there were also stories that I would tell myself about myself that would reflect how I would interact with the world. Growing up, multiple things caused me to be soft-spoken because oftentimes speaking my truth, I would get in trouble. And so I learned to stay quiet. And that transformed into me assuming and believing, holding that belief for a long time, that I had social anxiety. Until one day, when I was about 25, when my frontal lobe developed, I started asking myself, why do I think like this? And that obviously made me do some shadow work and go back in time, but I realized that that was never a reality I wanted for myself. Though I had normalized it, and though I believed there was no other way I could be, but doing that shadow work, meditation, journaling, really connecting with my soul in that way allowed me to see that I wasn't limited to that experience. I've realized that if you don't tell yourself who you are on a day-to-day basis, the world will tell you who you are. So now I want to pull some more cards, looking at your fears and what may still be stopping you from embodying your highest, most beautiful potential. And then I want to choose a different deck to see if there's any practical advice that wants to come through for you. Now, to speak of your fears, I'm going to use the Horror Tarot. I feel like it's fitting. I just got this deck recently, so I'm excited to use it. I like horror movies. What fears are stopping this viewer from embracing their highest potential and their highest timeline? The Eight of Swords, overthinking. Overthinking stems from fear because it gives you this false illusion of control that by thinking so much, worrying so much, you can change the outcome, you can protect yourself. But really what that does more than anything, it drains your energy. It drains your valuable energy that you could be using to nourish positive thoughts, empowering thoughts, loving thoughts. But when you're stuck in this overthinking energy, all it does is make you feel more isolated, more abandoned, more restricted. And here we have the Lovers. For some of you, you could literally have a fear that love is just never going to work out for you, or that you're always going to repeat the same story again and again with different people. Or this could represent a fear of being alone. But beyond that, this card represents choices. You can either make choices from a place of peace and harmony and knowing, assuming the best for yourself, or you can make choices from a state of fear, a state of lack, a state of disbelief. And there's no right or wrong choice because it's all going to lead you somewhere. It's either going to lead to you learning something or getting to open your heart more to something. Not all choices will lead to trouble, but all choices will lead to wisdom. Pay attention to how you feel when you're making a choice. If you're feeling anxious and hasty and confused, that's not the time to make a decision. If a choice has you feeling calm or excited or curious, it might not be so bad making that decision. And with the Three of Wands here, perhaps there is a fear of leaving your comfort zone Or you could have this idea that you can't act on something or do something until something else is perfect in your life, or until you are changed. There's a message here about not waiting for the perfect moment to do something or act on something or change your life, because the perfect moment may not arrive. And you don't want to get to a point in your life where you regret not having moved. On this card it says, "You have left your castle and are now on your journey on a vast open sea, a place of doubt and insecurity, but progress is being made." And so this is representing you knowing you should leave your castle, your comfort zone, because you do want to experience something new. You do want to see new things in your reality, but the vast open sea is scary. And there's so much doubt and insecurity that wants to accompany you on this journey. But if you can recognize that those fears and limitations are not your truth, if you can accept that the advice coming from a place of fear and doubt is not coming from your soul, you will inevitably make progress. At all points in time, you are manifesting something. So you might as well manifest what you want. Because when you're not manifesting what you want, or looking at yourself in the way that you want, in the way that you would like to feel, you're feeling the opposite of that. Now I want to get you some more practical advice. What else does this viewer need to know? Okay, so if you're watching this, you could be someone who feels like you have a lot of ideas, but you're lacking direction. So something practical that you could do to get out of this confused energy is you could write down your ideas and really reflect on that page, on that list, however many there is, and pay attention to the ones that most excite you. Not the ones that seem the most believable, and not only the ones that don't scare you, but the ones that really get your spirit going. These ideas need a direction, they need an outlet, but they need you to bring them into this reality. And it could start with you just writing them down on paper or wherever you want. There's heavy fire sign energy coming through. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Also Gemini energy just came through. And here we have the Magician. This is pretty much saying what I just said. Now is the time to establish a clear vision and create a plan. You are in the pre-manifest state, the inception point. And this is where you're really going to need to remember that your thoughts become things. Every single thing that you own, every single thing that you admire, every single thing that you desire once started as a thought in someone's brain. And that's why it's here in the reality. Without that thought, that thing would not exist. With the Magician here, this is about recognizing your internal power. Recognizing that you are a resourceful creator. You hold the willpower and the concentration that you need to live a more aligned and exciting life, to create it. The Magician is all about alchemy, alchemizing your limiting beliefs and turning them into your limitless potential. With the Page of Cups here, you have a lot of dreams, but it seems that you hinder yourself by telling yourself that your dreams are unrealistic, or because no one like you has done it before, you can't do it. A lot of you have so many beautiful and creative things to offer this world, but you're robbing the world of these things by not bringing it forth. For a lot of you, your sensitivity is a strength and you're meant to use it in some way. Some of you are very musically inclined, or you really know how to use your words. A lot of you are very artistic. A lot of you have a very strong intuition. There's a message here about asking yourself, who am I when I'm having fun? You could even be called to look back on the things that lit you up when you were a child, when you were being your most creative and authentic self. What are the things where you thought, wow, I'm really good at this? Or maybe you would receive a lot of compliments about doing that certain thing. Or even if you weren't really good at it, you just loved doing it. What are those things? This is your permission slip to bring joy back into your life. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need to wait for things to change. Having fun, enjoying what you do on a day-to-day basis is just as important as being productive. Alright, so I want to get you one final message to close out this reading. Can I get one final message for the viewer? Okay, so the message coming through is about boundaries, but boundaries regarding other people. It says, you require protection and need to take steps to establish stronger boundaries. It is your responsibility to teach others how to respect your needs. You may hope others will intuitively know how to treat you, but remember that every being is experiencing their own hardships, lessons, and triggers. They may have blocks that prevent them instinctively recognizing boundaries that seem obvious to you. This is not an excuse to treat you poorly, but it is reason enough for you to speak up and communicate your needs, rather than expecting someone else to guess. And of course, there are people who will push your boundaries to the breaking point. Some may even be doing it intentionally. Standing firm lets them know that while they push, you will not break. That is what I have for you guys. I hope that you've enjoyed this reading. If you would like to book a personal reading with me or a one-on-one, you can go ahead and click the link down below. It'll take you directly to my website. Other than that, I will see you all in the next video.